So it's the day after the last, or rather the first studio talk, the 25th of June 2013. Let's call this studio talk number 2. Kind of a quirky day as far as the weather is concerned, because we had the full moon 2 days ago, and they say the weather changes at the full moon, and this is exactly what happened. So now we've got cool weather, wind, rain every once in a while, not the big bright sun that we had last week, which makes it a good time to go into the dark room, as I did last night and just now. And I left off yesterday. I was talking about yeah, right, the birds. That's Winnie. What's keeping them from coming into this room to nibble at all the nice pieces of paper that are lying around is what I call the curtain, which was this t-shirt. I just removed it again. I'm going to patent this thing and put it into practice, of course, that the things about which one cannot talk or speak, about these things one should write and not keep silent or hold one's peace, as if that would, what would that change? It would be like saying, okay, well, language doesn't do it all the way, and yet language has the last say, because language says, if you can't talk about it, just keep quiet, okay? This is what language says, so who's going to follow that? And as I said, and this is like my whole attitude towards art at this point, that, you know, you have ideas and ideals, and art should be pure and not subject to external influences and considerations like earning money, making profit, getting rich, or helping others get rich, and so on and so forth. But this has nothing to do with what art is about. So actually, Joseph Beuys, for example, he can preach the gospel of Marcel Duchamp and ready-mades and junk art, whatever, put his name on it and sell it for a lot of money, and make series, multiples, which he did like nobody else, and cash in on his name and on his signature. This is not what art is about. This is certainly what the market is about, but art doesn't worry about that. Art just keeps on going, and this is what I'm trying to do now. And as far as I can tell, you know, it's like bubbling, like where a few months ago I was just hemming and hawing and wondering where my next job was going to come from, where the money was going to come from, and all that stuff. And everything seemed too much, you know, having to go to dinner somewhere, or having to do this, or everything was just too much. And today I'm doing all kinds of things, and here printing pictures, painting pictures, writing poetry, working on the computer with a Rembrandt story. Maybe I'll tell you about this another time, or playing the piano, playing music, and going to see people preparing to play music at Brigitte's sister's birthday on Saturday, Iris, which explains this picture of an iris. I don't know if you can see this. I made another one. Big on good old-fashioned paper, sort of a lot of white, and I might color it, I'm not sure about that. Anyway, this came pretty easily. I just without having to do too many tests and without making any mistakes. And anyway, so the creativity, if you want to call it that, is bubbling. The life is overflowing, and I'm going with the flow. And I think it's very important for me to consider myself as an artist, to present myself as an artist, and of course to somehow find my way into this market business, because it doesn't really make much sense to do something as let's say as technical as photography, which costs a lot of money as a result, of course, without being able to support the habit or support the work. And so it's important for me to find this connection, which again has nothing to do with art. But who said that art was all of life? I mean, not even for an artist is it all of life, because as far as money is concerned, I don't see artists going about spending their money, using their money in what I would call creative ways. I don't see that. What would that be? I'm not sure. Maybe they build their own museum or build a museum for other art. I don't know. But I don't see this. This would show that the medium of money can also be used in an artistic dimension, as if money were not a medium, which it is. So the creativity, as far as money is concerned, is not happening particularly in the art world. I never thought these thoughts before. They're just talking off the top of my head. But I mean, it's important for me, like I said, to find this way and out of this ideal that art, even if it says art, even if it says, or one comes to the point where one talks about the end of art because everything is art, that everybody is an artist, and so on and so forth. These are just ideals, these are logical conclusions. These have nothing to do with the winding ways of life, let's call it that, and life projected onto the cultural level, which is art. And of course, you can switch that around and say whatever we say about life is of course a cultural, it's going to be a cultural statement. It's going to be formulated in terms that are culturally established and familiar and so on. So today I did a little bit of printing for the series that I'm going to take to Foroglio next week in Tessin, the Italian part of Switzerland, where Brigitte and I are going to be 10 days. And it looks like it's going to be a busy 10 days because I'm taking a middle format camera that somebody lent me, a Rolleiflex, which is a lot easier to deal with than my Hasselblad. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to be printing more pictures for this expedition, and maybe I'll sell some, maybe we can organize an exhibition, whatever. And so we're preparing for that, preparing for this birthday, and today maybe we'll connect with these Australians who are making their travel through Europe. And it's the wife, daughter and granddaughter of Rainer Teni. He's, I guess you could call him a psychologist or thinker who wrote a very extremely interesting book about fear, angst, anxiety, and the taboo. It's called Taboo Angst, or the Angst Taboo. And it's a really thick thing, and I read it and I was very impressed by the clarity of his thinking and the comprehensibility, how big wide of a field and how deeply he explored that and laid it out. So I wrote him a letter, and that turned into a correspondence over the years. And he sent me the manuscript for his last book, which was about love. And I thought it was a bit too intellectual. I thought this was one of these things where you say, people want stories, they want images, they don't want thoughts. Or thoughts, yes, okay, but thoughts are, let's say, I don't know what a thought is in relation to an image. It's like, maybe art in relation to life. It's not the whole of it, but it certainly brings something into a form that couldn't be done otherwise. Mentally. And so he died, and his daughter contacted me 2 years ago to say that she was going to visit Europe with her daughter and mother, I guess, and they wanted to meet the people who had known her father, worked with her father, because her father had given workshops in Europe, in Switzerland, in Germany. He was German mixed with Austrian. And